In this video, we're going to discuss 5 common mistakes which you should avoid before making that big condo purchase. So if you're someone who's looking to buy a condo in the near future, you've come to the right place. So without wasting much time, let's get right into it. But before, I have a super quick favor. It'll be great if you can please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions about real estate, please feel free to book a call with me by clicking on the Calendly link mentioned in the description below. Now let's get started. So the first mistake to avoid is that is not knowing the reputation of the developer. So there are many developers in the city which include good and bad, but it is very important to stay away from the bad ones because there are few buildings in the city which were not built in the best possible manner. And mind you, the condos in these buildings might sell for less price point. So especially as a first-time home buyer, you might find these pricing affordable and cheaper. But just a heads up, these cheaper option does come with some headache. You might run into a lawsuit from the developer to the property management and vice versa. Not the best elevator situation, low quality of finishes, and so on and so forth. So it is important to do some research onto the developer before buying that condo. And just for your reference, I will quickly highlight few good developers in the city. TRREB is a pretty good developer. They have a pretty decent presence in the city of Toronto. Great Gulf, Citizen Group, they are good developers too. Herein is a pretty solid developer. In fact, Herein and TRREB, they recently did a collaboration in the developing of the Well, which is on the intersection of Front and Spadina. It is a pretty cool spot, and in my opinion, they did a pretty good job in developing that. Next up is not checking out the parking spot before buying the condo. I agree, this might sound pretty basic, as most of us might assume that the parking spot in a building is going to be pretty standard, where you can fit in any car from massive Ford truck to a small Mini Cooper. But we got to be careful, especially in newer condo buildings where they've started making smaller parking spots. So if you're someone who owns a massive truck, you might run into a problem if you end up getting a small parking spot. And also a quick tour of the parking spot will give you an idea how accessible and how conveniently it is located from the elevators. Okay. All right. So now let's head to the third mistake which you should avoid before buying a condo is that is not reviewing the status certificate. In my opinion, this is a very, very important one. So I do see sometimes where buyers tend to get the status certificate reviewed by their uncle or by themselves or not getting it reviewed at all. So status certificate should be reviewed by a professional real estate lawyer. It's about 300 to 400 page. It provides a lot of information about the unit, such as legal description. And furthermore, it also provides important information such as if there are any lawsuits going on onto the building, what's the owner to renter ratio. I think it's very important to know if the building is dominated by owners or renters. I would suggest to avoid buildings with high renter ratio because it does affect the sense of community in some capacity because there's so many people moving in and moving out on regular basis. So that's something to keep an eye out on. Status certificate also let us know that if there are any special assessments coming up. So special assessments are any unexpected fee that the condo owner might have to pay for any major repairs or any unexpected expenses. And furthermore, status certificate tells us if the building is pet friendly or not, and if it is pet friendly, then what are the pet policies in that building. So I hope by now you get an idea how important the status certificate is. So do get it reviewed by a professional real estate lawyer. And if you need more information about status certificate, I had made a video about it sometime back ago. I put the link in the description below of the same. Next up is not doing a quick neighborhood check. So after your condo viewing, I would suggest to go out for a stroll in and around the area just to get a vibe or just to get a feel of that neighborhood and envision yourself. Do you see yourself living over there or no? And also look out for any new upcoming construction projects around the building or any potential construction projects around the building. For example, an empty parking spot where they can build a building on that parking spot down the line, because we don't want to be in a situation where you buy a condo with a decent view and that view is blocked by a new building next door. So your buyer agent should be able to confirm with you if there are any new construction coming up around the specific building in which you're looking to buy a condo. Or also there's a pretty resourceful website called urbantoronto.com where you can look up for new construction projects. I have shared the link of that website as well in the description below. Now let's talk about the fifth one, that is floor plan versus square footage. So I do see sometimes where buyer mainly focus on square footage and neglecting the overall layout or the floor plan of the unit. I totally agree that the square footage is one of the main metric to calculate the overall value of the unit, but the floor plans or the type of layout also matters. For example, you should avoid a layout with a long hallway at the entrance because that's kind of considered a wasted space. And I would also avoid a layout with a curve. Let me quickly show you a couple of examples. And here at the entrance, you can see there's a huge hallway, which is more of a wasted space. And in my opinion, not the most efficient layout overall. Now, let me show you another example. So here you can see there's a curve going on. So any angle or any curve in the unit makes the unit feel smaller as opposed to the original size. So the original size of this unit is 751, but because of this curve, you'll feel this unit smaller than original size. And also this angle or this curve makes it difficult to set up the living area in the most efficient way. So that's something you need to keep in mind, okay? So let me show you a quick example of a good layout. So here we go. So here you can see it's a good layout because there's no wasted space at the entrance, and you can see there's no curve on any side of the unit. So here I agree that there's a slight curve over here, but that's still manageable. And this unit comes with a split layout. So basically there's a one bedroom is on the left side and the other one is on the right side, so which is nice. So that's pretty much for today. I hope I was able to give some value, and thank you for watching.